Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back, friends. The last time we met, friends, we talked about the count-ifs formula, and then we discussed the advanced count-ifs formula, and I showed you how to use the count-if formula here in Excel. Alright, so at this juncture, friends, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different but similar to what we've done earlier. Alright, so we're going to be talking about the sum-ifs formula. Alright, the sum-ifs formula is a little bit just different from the count-ifs formula. Just as the name denotes, the counts usually count on the particular criteria that has been specified, but then the sum is going to sum up all the criteria and then give you a particular value. Alright, so at this juncture, I'm going to double tap on this particular cell, and the question will be asked over here is to find the total revenue of each of these products. Alright, so we have to find the total revenue for each of these products. So what I'm going to do right now is just type in equal to. Alright, so at this juncture, I'm going to put sum ifs. Alright, so I'm going to say sum ifs, and then I'm going to open my bracket. Alright, so friends, with the sum ifs formula already typed in here, I'm going to put the sum range. Alright, so I have to specify the sum range. Now, if you look at the equation, it's saying find the total revenue of each of these products. Alright, so what I have to do right now is come to the data section, and I just have to come over to the section where I see revenue. Alright, and I just highlight everything in the revenue column. Control Shift, I hold my control key, I hold my shift key down, and then I press my down arrow key. Alright, so at this juncture right now, I'll just lock this cell, function F4. Alright, and then I put a comma sign. Now that way I've been able to specify my sum range. Right, so the next thing I need to do right now, remember when we were working with just count ifs, what we had was just the criteria range 1 and then the criteria, and then we were able to count both text and then whether text strings or numbers, we're able to count them. But then in this case, we have to sum. So we can't sum products by just highlighting the product and then telling it to sum the products away. So we can't sum a particular product, or we can't sum text strings. We can only sum numbers. Right, so that's why we are summing the revenue of each of these products. All right, so at this juncture right now, the next thing I need to specify right now, having specified the sum range. Right, the question says the total revenue of each of these products. So I need to specify now the products, just like we would do in count. All right, so at this juncture right now, I just need to come over to the section where I have products colon, and I just come over to this section over here. I just hold my control key down, hold my shift key down, and press my down arrow key, and I just have to lock this up. Hold my function key and press F4, and that's how I'm going to do that. And then the next thing I need to do right now is to click on this particular cell over here. I just click on this particular cell, and I don't have to lock anything because I'm going to drag it down right to the end over here. It's not just one product we have multiple products. All right, so one other way I could have done this was to just highlight everything over here, and then it's the same thing basically. I just highlight everything over here and lock it. All right, it's going to still give me the same answer. All right, so if in this section where I have the sum ifs before, right, where I just click this particular cell. Let me quickly show you something. In this particular section, I could have just decided to highlight this entire data set, and in that case lock B4 to B9, and I'm going to get the same answer as not locking anything. All right, so if I just click on this and not lock anything, I'm going to get the same answer as on what I could have previously done. All right, so I just click on enter. All right, in that case, friends, you can see over here we have our answer nicely printed out. Right, so I can just come to the bottom right. I can decide to come over to this formula and remove this sum ifs exclamation mark. It doesn't mean anything. My formula will still work perfectly well. I can just leave only B4, remove this section. My formula will still work perfectly well. Right, but there's no need for that. So I just come to the bottom right of this, and I drag down to the end. Right, in that case right now we can see the total revenue of each of these products. Right, so the next thing we are going to do right now is for the segments. Alright, so it's basically the same thing. I'm just going to say equals to sum ifs, and then I'm going to open my bracket. And basically what I need to specify right now is the sum range, which is the total revenue, right? So I come to the data section, the section where I see revenue. I'm just going to highlight the total revenue. Alright, come to the second row. I hold my control key, hold my shift key, and press my down arrow key. And then the next thing what I need to do right now is to lock this particular column which I've specified. I hold my function key and press F4. Alright, so I put a comma sign. And the next thing I need to do right now is to specify the criteria range 1. Right, in specifying the criteria range 1, we have segments. Right, so I just come over to my data set, and then I have to highlight the entire column for segments. Control Shift down arrow key. Alright, so and then I have to lock this up with my function key, press F4, and then I just put a comma sign. Then my criteria, I just click on this particular government segment over here, and I just close my brackets. Alright, so friends, it's quite easy to use the sum ifs formula if you already know about the countifs formula. It's just basically the same thing. The only difference is just this sum range. You just need to specify the sum range. Every other thing here is the same thing as the countifs, right? So that's just basically it. I could have specified lots of other criteria ranges and other criterias, right? So just make sure you must specify the sum range, right, to give Excel what to sum. All right, so at this juncture right now, just come to the bottom right and drag to the end, and there we go. That's our formula, our answers. All right, so the next question is asking us to find the total revenue derived from goods that cost the amounts below. All right, so in other words, find the total revenue of goods that whose cost is exactly equals to $12,590, $13,328, and the like. So for products that are exactly equal to this cost, we have to find the number of sales and then sum up the number of sales for them. All right, so at this juncture right now, it's going to be quite easy to do this if you already understand the sum if formula. So I'm just going to say equals to sum ifs, then open my brackets. And the next thing I need to do right now is to specify my sum range. All right, so my sum range, definitely we are told to find the total revenue. All right, so I come over to datasets, right, and let me quickly highlight the total revenue section, Control Shift and down arrow key, and I just need to lock this up, holding my function and then pressing F4 key on my keyboard. All right, so having specified the sum range, which is the total revenue, now we need to specify the criteria range. All right, so here we have total cost as the criteria range. All right, so what I need to do right now is come back to my data set, and I'm just going to now as I click on this particular section of the data, this particular page containing my data, you can see I have data exclamation mark telling me it's making reference to a different page. All right, so I need to just come to total cost, hold my control key, my shift key, and press my down arrow key. Right, that's the entire criteria range. So what I need to do right now is to lock this, hold my function key, press F4, right, and then I put a comma sign. Then the last thing I need to do right now is to specify the criteria. All right, so in specifying the criteria, I could just highlight this entire cells or this entire rows of data and lock them up, or I can just click on one of them and not lock it, and it will give me the same answer. So I just close my bracket and press enter. All right, so now in this case I need to drag down to the end, and this is basically how we are able to get our answer in this case. All right, so friends, at this juncture right now we are going to repeat the same thing for this other section, and now we've been asked to find the total revenue of products whose cost is either less than or equal to this amount over here, $331,500. All right, so the way I'm going to do this is similar to what we did previously. I'm just going to say equals to, and then I'm going to say sum ifs, and then I'm going to open my brackets. Then I have to specify my sum range. So I come over to data, and then I'm going to look for where we have revenue section. Just come over here, hold my control and shift key down, then I press my down arrow key. So I just lock this entire column, holding my function key and press F4. All right, so I put a comma sign. Now the next thing I need to specify my criteria range. The criteria range is going to be total cost. So I need to come back to data set, and then I just come over to total cost, click the first cell, Control Shift down arrow key. All right, so I just highlight this, hold my function key, press F4. All right, so next thing, friends, I just need to specify the criteria 1. All right, so this is the criteria I need to specify by. Now the criteria I need to specify basically is telling me either less than or equal to 331,500. Now if I just click on this cell, I'm not specifying, it will not capture the less than that is part of this formula. It will not capture less than, it's just going to be working with equal to. All right, so that's basically what is going to be working with. And then I'm going to say less than or equal to, then I type in the number 331,500. Then I close the quotation mark rather. All right, so I open the quotation mark, put the less than equals to, put the value, then close the quotation mark, then I just put close my bracket and click on enter. All right, so friends, that's basically how we are able to get the formula or the answers for these questions that have been thrown at us here in Excel. All right, so friends, without wasting much of your time, I'd like you to take some time out and then practice what you've learned. Thank you so much, friends.